This video is going to go out to all of my fellow self-sabotagers. When life is going too good for you, you feel the need to hit the elevator down button. I'm going to explain to you why that keeps happening to you, because coming from someone that was doing that for 95% of his life, why it's actually a good thing in the end, crazy as it sounds. So without further ado, you're going to want to stick around to the end of this video. Nearly burning down the house for you guys. Who else is laying it down out on the line? Let me open up a door, that way, let's not smoke it up in here, you know what I'm saying? All right, perfect. So while we talk about self-sabotage, I'm gonna eat some food because it actually kind of goes hand in hand with a few examples where it's like, for example, food is something that has a great power over me, right? So I always noticed when I started getting real nice with my diet and stuff, I kept just destroying myself. Like I'd go on a binge, few days stint where I'd go absolutely off. But that's not really the example that is like, wow, that was my big self-sabotage. I wouldn't stop eating like crazy, bro. That's just one of the things. Other things I would do, and I would do really, really well at my jobs, I would purposely derail everyone's opinion of me. I was always that type where I would quit because I knew it wasn't sustainable, and it's like, okay, like I can't do this forever. Even though on paper, I'm killing the game, absolutely murdering it, I would still find a way to sabotage my efforts or just bow out of the race. Examples where I did things outside of my judgment, and that way I could derail everyone's opinion of me specifically. Dude, I literally could go on and on, but there's certain things I don't think you guys are ready to hear yet, if I'm being honest. Hopefully that's not too freaking loud. Feels like I'm screaming right now. I feel like the microphone will do a good job. But point is I have too many examples of this happening in my life where I would do really, really well. I'd murder it. I'd have everyone being like, wow, dude, you're super talented. You can do X, Y, and Z. Look at how good you're doing. And I would purposely just hit the elevator down button, and then I'd go on to the next thing. Literally rinse and repeat on everything. Certain parts of my life where I even had family that looked at me a certain way, and I purposely did things outside of my own character and that were against my morals, just so they wouldn't look at me as highly as they're used to doing. And it was because I couldn't handle that level of pressure because I didn't feel like I was even earning that. I didn't want to be looked at like that because I almost felt like I had to fake my way to get to that point. And that's the point. That is why you're self-sabotaging. You want to know why you keep on self-sabotaging? It's for one reason. It's because you're going against your nature. You're going against your heart. I want you to think back at every time you've sabotaged your efforts. Like even the stupidest little examples. I guarantee you by the time you got to good results or good things were happening, you had to fake who you were to get to that point. That is precisely why that keeps on happening to you. And it's because it's right. You're trying to outsmart the world. Like you're trying to hack life. You don't hack life. And that's what's so cool about life, is because it will beat you to your knees until you conform to what it wants you to do. That's God's way of talking to you, saying, hey, stop it. Because honestly, let's say you were to get to where you wanted to go. Is this actually sustainable for you? Are you actually being yourself? Are you fully leaning into your heart? No, I can guarantee it. If you're the type that's sabotaging their efforts, and it's huge self-sabotage the way I was, it's because you've actively gone against everything that you thought. All you're trying to do is think from up here and try to put together the right moves in the right order. Terrified of showing who you actually are, and terrified of going after what you actually want, and doing it the way that you know you should be doing it. And by the way, when I say you should, understand that just means that's natural to you. Not should as in we should and should not do things. That's a different ball game. Those are morals. What I'm talking about is what agrees with your insides, who you actually are, and how you should be presenting yourself to the world. It's why people call themselves introverts. You ain't an introvert. There's just nobody that you're talking to that you can be fully yourself with. And fully yourself, understand, doesn't mean I get to just be an absolute, just disgusting mob and like, bro, I'm a chill guy, so like I want to go out in public and I just want to wear like shorts and stuff. Like that's kind of the game you need to start playing, is you know there's things you need to be doing better. And the problem is you never listen to that voice. You're thinking about what everyone else wants all the time. You're trying to please everybody versus trying to abide by your own standard. That's why self-sabotaging happens so often among self-sabotagers. That's why it's a legitimate vicious cycle that you can't get yourself out of, because Your perspective's off. You're looking at everything from the third person and looking at it like, will this person approve of this behavior? You're constantly seeking approval from everybody around you. You want to make sure that the way you're saying things, people think is attractive. The way you want to say things, the way you present yourself, you want people to look at and be like, ooh, I'm impressed. You're just constantly just like an impression machine, trying to just impress everyone. You want to make sure you're just, I want to make sure I'm controlling narrative. A lot of that self-sabotage has to do with those things. And you want to know something, it's super fair because that ain't even you. Like I said, you're thinking from up here. That's the beauty of self-sabotage when it happens, because now you realize, you're like, well, have you really gotten here by doing it your way? Are you actually being completely yourself? Are you abiding by your own standard? Is this your standard or is this somebody else's standard? What is your actual self-image of yourself? And that's why you'll never be able to play life ahead of your self-image. You will never be able to outperform your self-image. It's impossible. And it's about your standard. It's not about saying, oh, I'm the man. That's the thing about self-image people get mistaken as hardly to do. And although self-talk is super powerful, don't get me wrong, that's not what it is. It's your standard. It's what you're willing to abide by when you have nothing left in the tank. Nothing. That's, I swear to you, the biggest leaps and bounds happen not when you feel at your strongest. It's actually the opposite. It's when you feel at your weakest. That's where the biggest leaps happen. And that's why eventually self-sabotage is going to come knocking on your door. And it's because the leaps only happen in the weakest of areas. And if you're constantly self-sabotaging, you've already burnt yourself out up until that point, it ain't worth it to you. Let's be real, like this isn't fucking worth it. Fuck it. I'm just going to start all over and do something else. Hopefully that's it. It's a spray and pray mentality, but the thing about self-sabotage, it'll always come back if you don't leverage it properly. Part of the reason I'm doing it while I'm cooking is food has an astronomical power over me. And versus telling myself I need to be disciplined, this is a very small example, by the way. There's way bigger and more prevalent examples, but let's use food. The reason why people self-sabotage on a diet is because the way they get there is bullshit. I'm not kidding. I'm going to show you what time it is. It's 10:04. 10:04 at night, and I'm about to have me an absolute feast. This is just, the protein and a little bit of cooked up veggies. That's what I was kind of looking for here. Reason why I'm explaining this to you right now is because most people be like, you can't be doing that. Oh, it's against the rules because if you have food after the sun goes down, it's over for you. This is when part of the reason why I've been able to get into the level of shape I'm in as a complete natural, where people do question now officially, I'm getting it a ton, where everyone's come like, dude, stop capping, bro, you take something. And it's a great feeling because I know in my head, all I'm doing is just what's natural to me. I love eating at night and I love food so much that I don't tell myself I can't love food. I'm not a huge discipline. I just dangle the donut. Dangling the donut is a way for me not to self-sabotage. That's the point. You weaponize this. I weaponize my food to where I work out harder than probably most people on earth. 99% of people on earth I can probably say I work out harder than. But it's not because I'm a workhorse. It's because I know what I have waiting for me, and the food just is something I'm excited for. But even when I decided to start posting videos, I knew in my head what I wanted out of my life. And in my head, I said, I'm so clear on the goal, I just don't care how I get there, to be honest with you. But it's an emotional thing. When you get started in terms of what am I going to do the rest of my life? And why do I keep the amount of jobs I purposely self-sabotage myself is unbelievable. And I'm not kidding. Everywhere I went, incredible impressions, and they would have me back tomorrow if I came knocking on the door for a job. I always left good impressions. But I would purposely derail certain opportunities that I know I could get because it's I don't want this. Deep down in my heart, I don't want this. And that's why I'm thankful, even though there's times it's why do I keep doing this and how do I get over it? I just knew in my head, I said, really at the end of the day, how can I best help people based on who I am right now, the moment I decided to make videos. I'm honestly, there's a few things I feel like I could help out with, but fitness, just in general, how to make yourself super vital, how to have a ton of energy, because my approach is so unorthodox. In my head, it's I went the orthodox method and it never did me any well. So I was screw it, there's probably people like me. And you want to know something? The real reason behind my page is because all I'm talking to are the outliers of society. That's why you self-sabotage. Self-sabotagers are innately outliers. The one that stands out from the crowd. And as a result, you're probably a bit of an outsider. You feel like an outsider, even if you have a ton of friends. If you're anything like me, always grew up with a ton of friends. But guess what? I always felt alone. There's nothing more lonely than being surrounded by people who genuinely love you and your company, but you feel alone. And that's because you're an outlier. You're not an introvert. You just haven't found anyone that just feels like they're speaking the same language. They look at the world the way you look at it. This is all of my life's work is going to be geared towards literally creating a home for outliers and people that are self-sabotagers, because it's literally one and the same. You can't be an outlier if you don't. Well, unfortunately, my phone ran out of storage, so I had to do a quick delete. I went off. I'm not even going to lie. I was going off, but it is what it is. You guys get to see me eat a little bit, but I am going to wrap this up. But point is, you know, before I was rudely cut off, when you have an ability to self-sabotage, you actually are an outlier in terms of your makeup as a person. It's impossible. People that are outliers and see the world different from everyone else around them have that perplexity to simply just derail all of the efforts they've ever had. And it's just because you're nuclear. And it's a good thing. But like anything else, like a gun, if you're shooting it at bad guys, quote unquote, YouTube, I'm not saying we should kill anybody, okay? Let me make that very clear. But you get what I mean. You should be aiming it at the target. But the problem is with a volatile weapon, sometimes you can aim it towards yourself. And it sucks, right? You just feel like you're getting in your own way. And that's your number one thing. That's why you self-sabotage, is because you're getting in your own way. Right? That's exactly what it is. But what's cool is if you just simply get out of your own way, and by getting out of your own way, you just have to do things your way without judgment. Stop worrying about everyone else. Stop trying to please everybody else. You do right by this, you have a standard you hold yourself to, and if you don't abide by that standard, yeah, you should be pissed off at yourself. But the difference is you have to stop playing game under other people's standards. You got to play game under your standards. I'm telling you right now, that's exactly what I plan to do, because understanding how to navigate this, unless you've lived a life like this, where for me, that was basically all the years I've been alive. So I understand how to navigate it really, really well. And that's why everything I've been doing with this page has been geared towards what's coming with Crusadia. There's a lot more to this than just the fitness aspect, but that is step one. You know, everyone's going to be a walking unit, but we're here to really change things, because those that are outliers are lone wolves by nature, just because they don't identify with very many people. But you're going to finally be around people that it's like, you want to know something? I feel like my thought patterns are sharper. I feel like iron is sharpening iron. And these people actually can see the world from where I'm looking at it, because I thought I was crazy my whole life. That's what we aim to do. Anyways, I appreciate watching this video. Hope this is well worth your time. I'm absolutely starving, but absolutely beautiful. If there's anything you guys want specifically, please drop it down in the comments. If people like those comments, give those a thumbs up, and that way I don't make a video on it. Definitely a long overdue video. And if you guys really, really want more to this, because there's so many layers to self-sabotage, obviously, let me know. We can start talking about it a lot more often. But, 10:16, and I'm gonna have another meal after, so I'm gonna have lamb chops probably at 12:30. See? When you apply whatever you wanna do, you can break all the science rules, all the optimal stuff. You just start beating to your own drum. And life is so damn fun when you just get to be yourself. Dude, your charisma's through the roof. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of this. I promise you. And I'm telling you right now, you'll thank yourself for self-sabotaging, because that was necessary for you to walk into who you're meant to be, right? I'm here to make sure you remember that. Anyways, I love you guys. Uncle Rami out. Peace.